Hello, I'm John. Welcome back. So today we're going to have a video that I've been planning to make for quite some time, but for one reason or another I haven't been able to do it. And it's been on the back burner for a couple of months, and now I'm finally ready to do it. So I thought I would go ahead and do that. And that is showing you my collection of Alistair MacLean's novels. So I have them arranged in chronological order from his first to his last. I have all but two of the novels he wrote himself. I don't have any of the ones that he wrote with other people. And so I'm just going to dive into this. So Alistair MacLean, I have a little bit of his information here. He was born in Scotland in 1922. He only spoke Scottish Gaelic until he went to school. He was in the Royal Navy during World War II. He served on light cruisers, and he was in convoy PQ-17, which was, they were sending convoys of war materials from, I want to say they were leaving Iceland and going up through the North Sea to Archangel in Russia. And what happened was they got word that a German battleship was coming out to destroy the convoy, and the convoy scattered. It was, a lot of people died, even though the battleship never showed up, if I remember right. Let's see, he also served in the Mediterranean, in Burma, Malaya, and Sumatra, and he died in 1987. So he started writing after the war. From what I understand, he needed some money. There was a writing contest, so he wrote this book, his first, H.M.S. Ulysses. This is pretty good. This is right after his war experiences, and it's the story of I believe H.M.S. Ulysses was a cruiser, and it's escorting a convoy through the North Sea to Archangel. And they have to deal with all these threats from airplanes, from submarines, from the weather. It's terribly cold, and it's a really good book. One of my favorites that I've read. I haven't read all of these, by the way. I've read quite a few of them, but not all of them. And I'm not going to talk about all of them in depth. But from what I understand, he had 3 months or a month or something like that to write a book to enter this contest. He wrote the book, and he won, and he made some money, and for the rest of his life he would write books, and just for money. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And he would write his books in a month. He would spend a month writing each book. He would write it, and then he would forget about it. He was really somebody who just wrote for the paycheck, and that's okay with me. I mean, as long as your books are readable. And here is another copy of H.M.S. Ulysses. I kind of like this one better. I know, now this one is kind of, I like them both. That's why I have both of them. So MacLean's books, I don't mind having doubles. I like collecting these different editions. It's kind of enjoyable in a way. It gives me something to look out for. So that's H.M.S. Ulysses. After that came the Guns of Navarone. And the Guns of Navarone was, of course, made into a movie with, I want to say Gregory Peck. I haven't seen the Guns of Navarone. I've seen Force 10 from Navarone with Harrison Ford and Robert Shaw, and I think Carl Weathers is in that. So the Guns of Navarone. I read this about, geez, it's probably been 13 or 14 years ago. So they're sent to an island in Greece, this commando team. They have to scale a sheer cliff to get up there, and they're going to blow up these giant guns that are being used to keep away the Allied ships from the island of Navarone, or from, I think, to get through like a sea passage. It's pretty good. I didn't like that book as much as I would have liked to have liked it. There's South by Java Head. This is about I've read this one. This is about a ship that leaves Singapore during the Japanese invasion of Singapore in 1940, I think, 1940. And it gets torpedoed, it sinks, or maybe it gets bombed from the air. I really don't remember. And all these people crowd onto this lifeboat, and one of them might be a German spy. And this is pretty good. I haven't read this in a long time either. I need to reread some of these. So I haven't read this one. This is The Secret Ways. I want to say this is from 1959. So let's see. Winters are silent in Budapest, silent and dark, and behind some door in some ancient street, Harold Jennings, the brilliant British scientist, sat rehearsing a speech denouncing his own country. Michael Reynolds, Britain's top agent, was given the impossible assignment: enter Hungary, kidnap Dr. Jennings, and return him to the free world. And this, Reynolds decided, was roughly like trying to find an invisible needle in a burning haystack. I won't read all of these. It's just, I don't know what it is about MacLean's books. I really enjoy them. And here is Night Without End. I think this is my favorite MacLean book that I've read so far. It's about an airplane that crashes in Greenland next to a meteorological outpost. And these two guys or three guys in this outpost have to take this group of civilians who survived this plane crash to a populated area. But when one of the guys goes into the plane, he finds that I think both the pilots and the navigator have been shot. So there's more to this than it looks like. I really like this book. It's cold and dark, and you really feel the strain these people are under, and almost freezing to death and all of that. There's Ice Station Zebra, and so there's a whole story to this one. Howard Hughes really loved the movie of Ice Station Zebra. It's about a guy who is sent in a secret mission to get on a submarine, an American submarine, and go to the North Pole to, well, I don't want to tell you about, but it's pretty good. I have two of these. I haven't read this one, but this is Fear is the Key, and I kind of like this cover better. And so this one's about hunting for buried treasure, or not buried treasure, but there's treasure on an airplane, and the plane crashed in the ocean and sank, and there's all these people trying to go get it. I want to read this one of these days. I want to read all of these one of these days. I don't know what I'm saying. So here's another doubles. It's got two different titles. He published this one under a pseudonym. I think his pseudonym was Ian Stewart. So The Black Shrike or The Dark Crusade, The Dark Crusader. It's about a guy and a woman. They're sent to this island to discover what is going on there, and there's some stuff with missiles. Pretty good. Not his best work. That's probably why he published it under a pseudonym. There's The Golden Rendezvous. This is something at sea. I need to read these. I really, really like these books that take place at sea. And MacLean really excelled at writing about the ocean because he spent so much time on it. There's When Eight Bells Toll, another sea story. And a lot of his books include kind of like tough, really intelligent guys who are loners, and they just want to go out there and get the job done, and they're very smart, and we're not always let in on everything that they know. That's kind of bothersome sometimes because it can feel like MacLean is just pulling something out of a hat. That's a little bit irritating. Here is Where Eagles Dare, and there is Alistair MacLean. He's one of those people who looks different in every picture, or so it seems. Here is Force 10 from Navarone with the movie cover. You've got Robert Shaw and Harrison Ford. And let's see. I don't know the names of the rest of the people there, but I like that movie. They go into I can't remember, Yugoslavia maybe, to blow up a dam, a German occupied dam. Puppet on a Chain. This is about drug smugglers, from what I understand. Let's see. Yes. An Interpol agent and his lovely assistant land in Holland. He was after a drug ring. Who was after him? First, someone killed his contact. Then he ran up against a lethal room clerk. Then a bunch of cute old-world hay dancers went for him with pitchforks. Then he got mixed up with some macabre puppet makers. It was a Netherlands nightmare, and no waking up. That might either be really, really good or really bad. Some of his later books vary in quality. Caravan de Vaccares. This is probably the one I'll read next. And it sounds really good. A guy goes on vacation in, I think, France, and he gets mixed up with some things, and he doesn't know why these people are trying to kill him. There was a movie about it, and I think it's on YouTube or something, but I haven't seen it. Here's another one. Caravan de Vaccares, the hardcover. And here is Bear Island, which could have been my favorite Alistair MacLean novel, but I didn't like the ending of this one. I felt like it built tension all the way to the end, and then MacLean sort of chose to unravel all that tension. I really didn't understand that. It's about once again, a secret agent who's sent on a mission to go with a film crew to Bear Island, because there's something very fishy about this film and the people who are trying to shoot this film. And The Way to Dusty Death. Let's see what this one is about. In his newest thriller about the violent, high-powered world of racing, Alistair MacLean unfolds the story of a champion on the skids. They told Johnny Harlow that he was responsible for the accident which had killed his friend and crippled the girl he loved. All the evidence pointed to his guilt. The empty bottles of booze in his room, his mysterious disappearances, his shakiness at the track. He's a has-been, they said, a lunatic, a killer, a drunk. Was Johnny what they said, or was he playing a very special role in a very dangerous game? I really like the covers of these books, and that's why I don't mind having multiples, because I don't know, I just really like them. These master storyteller and that sort of thing. Fawcett Crest. So here is a Western, Breakheart Pass. And you know, this was pretty good. I really liked this Western. I read it for June on the Range last year. And this train gets snowed in. There are some bad guys trying to do some bad stuff. There is once again a secret agent on board the train. And he knows kind of what they're trying to do, but not exactly, and he's got to stop them. I don't know. I really liked it. Here is Circus. This one sounds pretty out there. Bruno Wilderman is the world's greatest trapeze artist, a clairvoyant with near supernatural powers, an implacable enemy of the East European regime that arrested his family and murdered his wife. The CIA needs such a man, and Bruno is recruited for an impossible raid on the impregnable Lubion fortress where his family is held. Under cover of a circus tour, Bruno prepares to return to his homeland, but before the journey even begins, a murderer strikes twice. Somewhere in the circus, there is a communist agent with orders to stop him at any cost. Once again, this could either be really good or really terrible. So, here we have The Golden Gate. I didn't really like this one very much. Let's see, Goodbye California. This is, some people take over a nuclear power plant and threaten the whole state of California. And it's got a wraparound cover. It's in pretty bad shape. It's got, it's that kind of shiny cover that scratches really easily. And I guess that's in the wake of that, what was that Faye Dunaway movie? China Syndrome? I never saw that. I always wanted to. Seawitch by Alistair MacLean. some oil magnates trying to do some devious stuff, and once again, I'm guessing a secret agent has to go in there and save the day. Athabasca. Beyond America's northernmost frontier, amid the frozen oil-rich tar sands of Athabasca, comes this headlong tale of blackmail, kidnapping, and murder, and of ruthless men who attempt to hold hostage the Alaskan pipeline itself. You will be incurring an interruption of oil production, sufficient to convince you that we can interrupt oil flow whenever and wherever we please. You can just hear Robert Shaw saying that, can't you? It's kind of what he said in The Taking of Pelham 123, which is, I love that movie. Here is River of Death. There was a movie about this also. It wasn't the greatest movie. It was okay. It had Donald Pleasance in it as a escaped SS man, and he hires a pilot to take him into the rainforest to find this other guy who, they had cut a deal to steal all this money out of Germany towards the end of the war, and the guy betrayed him. So now he's hunting him down in the rainforest. I'm not sure if that's exactly what this book is, but the movie was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. Here's Partisans, and this is a return to World War II, kind of like the Guns of Navarone. Against the backdrop of the Balkan Peninsula during World War II, Peter leads a commando force to deliver a vital message to the partisans. That sixth sense a veteran acquires warns him of a setup. His orders reek of double cross and deception. All the surprises and twists that have become the hallmark of a MacLean story are here in an atmosphere of intrigue, danger, and unparalleled suspense. I hope that MacLean could keep track of his double crosses. Sometimes it seems like he sort of lost track of who was double crossing who. So these are his later books. There are 3 more. And here is Floodgate. I've heard that this is not very good. Amsterdam Airport has disappeared. Blackmail. The mass of water in its place is the work of the FFF, an Irish terrorist group who want to force Britain's hand. Subterfuge. The Dutch call in Detective Lieutenant Van Effen, feared interrogator and undercover intimate of the criminal Crakers gang, to sabotage the FFF's plan. Disaster. If Van Effen fails and the FFF get control of the vital dike, either Holland will sink beneath the sea or Britain will be awash with blood. And this has a wraparound cover. This is Fontana, so this is a UK edition. Pretty neat. Probably, I've heard these later ones are kind of bloated. And this is the last, this is the second to last novel he wrote, San Andreas. And it's a return to the sea. And I'd like to read this one. I like his sea stories. A medical ship ferries the wounded across the stormy North Sea. Above and below it hovers an attack force of Luftwaffe and U-boats. In its quarters lurks a treacherous saboteur, and in its hold lies an astounding secret that could turn the San Andreas into a floating catacombs. That sounds pretty good. And so I want to talk about the 2 novels that I don't have, and I'm pretty sure they're the only ones that I don't have, is The Satan Bug, which I've read. It's about somebody steals a very, very, very deadly engineered virus from a lab in Great Britain, and this investigator has to find it and save the world, because if it gets out, it will end the world. And it was pretty good. I'd probably like it better now than I did when I read it when I was younger. And the other one is called Santorini, and I don't know what that one's about. I've never seen that one in person. That was his last novel, and I've heard it wasn't very good. So I also have this collection of his short stories, and they're all about the sea. I keep meaning to read this, and I keep putting it off. But anyway, that brings us to the end of my Alistair MacLean collection. So, let me know if you've read any of these books, the ones I haven't read, or, tell me what you think about the ones that I did read or that I have read. And I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.